extraordinary love to withstand past relationship experiences, everyday bad choices, and our past hurts.
It is clear that we were brought together as one for a purpose. And as we share our love story, we pray that from our experiences, you can gain positive takeaways to use in your own life and relationship.
I know.
Hey, what? Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Come on in here. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey,
New
everybody.
year.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes. A little bit of housekeeping while we introduce ourselves as we come in on Conversations with the LoveByrds. We're your LoveByrds.
Hey, guys, I'm Darlene Bird.
I'm William Bird.
We're the LoveByrds.
Yes.
We love people and we love love.
And we love you.
So thank you for joining us tonight for another episode of
Conversations with the LoveByrds.
We're just talking, guys.
How my man Juan. That's my main man Juan Baxter. Shout out to those Baxters.
Whatever that was.
Yes, let me back up. First, shout out to our Feel Good Talk family.
Yeah.
Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul business platform. We love you guys. Remember, like and subscribe to Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business on YouTube.
Yes.
And all across all the digital streaming. Are you doing some housekeeping, baby?
Yeah, just housekeeping.
While she's doing some housekeeping,
yes,
I got two things.
I gotta share too. I
You gotta
can't listen.
Share.
We can't ask people to do something we don't do. So
that's
we gotta
right.
like
That's
and
what
share
I'm
too.
doing it. I'm trying to
but
do
come
that
on
right
in
now.
here, guys. Come on
Yes.
in here. Join
I'm
us.
Discord that, and then I'm gonna go share this like this, and then. But first, things first. How about them boys?
Boys.
Yes, I ain't been saying nothing.
Did they even
I've
play?
been holding back.
Did they even play on Sunday? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. Like,
I'm just saying.
The Cowboys even
maybe
play?
so. But if they
know. They
did,
were
I know for a fact they lost, and they
quiet.
are not the NFC.
They lost big time.
Champions, like my birds, them Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Okay, can we come
on
back?
the road to victory.
Come on back.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Score touchdowns. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hit them low, hit them low, hit them high. And watch those Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. Everybody. EAGLES, Eagles.
Go
Yes.
Birds. Go Birds. Go
I got it out, baby. That's all I got to
Get it
say.
all out. I mean, let me just
No,
wait.
listen.
Is it more
Y'all
in
want
there?
the second verse?
Is it more in there? Let me look at
I'll give y'all the second
out?
verse.
What just happened?
I will give y'all the second verse.
I don't know what just happened.
You know what happened. We won the NFC, baby.
Okay.
We won the division.
All
we
right.
won the conference. And
Yes.
we are headed to the bowl.
Hey, let's do this.
That's all I got to say.
It's an exciting time to be
It's a new
Eagles
year.
fan.
Yes, it's a great time to be an Eagles fan.
So,
yes.
hey, guess what else? Happy New Year, you guys.
Happy New Year's once again.
Happy 2023.
Is this our first show since the New Year?
I don't know, but Happy New Year.
It is our first show.
It might be our second. I don't know, but Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's a new year.
Yes.
We made it.
Yep.
Some people didn't make it.
Yep.
And we're so glad that we did. So we want to say Happy New Year.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us for Conversations with the LoveByrds. We just love you guys.
Yes, we do.
And we just talk a lot. So we just let you guys in on what we're doing and what we're talking about and some of the things that we do proactively.
Absolutely.
To keep
Always
our relationship fresh and to make sure that we are flying high as it comes to our relationship.
Yes. Being proactive helps us build a stronger man.
Not just surviving, not just putting up with, but thriving in our relationship. We like each other.
Hey, everybody.
We like each other.
We do like each other. We're good friends.
We are friends. And so we just share
really
some of
good
the things that we're talking about and some of the things that we're doing
absolutely
to keep it because we're determined.
Keep it right and keep it tight.
We're determined to keep it right and keep it tight.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
if we're gonna do this, we want to have the best, one of the best relationships there is, and we're gonna keep working at that. And we're not gonna give up on that. And we're gonna keep taking a pulse and keep moving a little bit this way and a little bit this way and a little bit this way, so that it's always prime.
Yes.
Yes. So
keep it tuned up.
Yeah.
So we can turn this mother out.
So one of the
I'm feeling giddy today,
Wait.
y'all. Okay. I'm
Y'all.
feeling giddy today. So y'all gonna
Help
have to
me,
bear
Lord.
with me.
Help me.
Yeah.
Help me.
And you know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's okay, I'm gonna start out like this. One thing in doing this, what we did with this right here, one of the things I really enjoyed about this whole thing is that it gets us talking about things. Us going through our lesson today, it got us talking about a couple of things, and we were able to do some more assessment in our relationship. And I heard you tell me something very, very beneficial that's going to really help me out.
Mhm.
And that just lit me up. We're doing our,
Let me tell you what he's talking about, because we haven't said anything yet.
No, we haven't said anything.
So
are you going to be that transparent?
It's January. No. I'm saying it's January.
Yeah.
What he's talking about is an annual relationship checkup.
Exactly.
An annual relationship checkup. And so if you've joined us, type that in the comments. Yes. Annual relationship checkup. So listen, people on their jobs do an annual checkup,
yes,
right?
You will get an assessment. You'll get
Don't you get an annual evaluation on your job?
Absolutely.
Talk about what worked and what. So we don't want you to stay the same. We want you to continue to improve. And if there's a couple of things on the job that you could tell me about that I can fix, then tell me and let me fix it. Don't keep scoring me low on something that I could work on and I can improve. Same thing with your relationships, right? So we do an annual relationship checkup. You know, the LoveByrds, they love them some assessments and how we doing and what's working and what's not working.
What direction we going in.
But we do a serious annual relationship checkup. So it's serious. And we have one that we can even share. So if you're interested in getting a copy of the annual relationship checkup that we've done this year, you can email info at love-birds.com,
and we'll give you the yearly,
and we'll send you the one that we've done this year.
Yes.
So we're doing an annual relationship checkup at a lot of different categories. And it assesses them. Yes. And we're hoping that you will begin to do the same thing, that you're proactive about your relationship, proactive about reviewing, proactive about fixing and setting it off to the best that it can be, right?
Very good.
Oh yeah. So that's what he's talking about. So we were doing ours, and that's what he's talking about when he's saying he learned some things and some little adjustments.
Some other stuff, but that part of it that's the best part of it.
So you're excited about that?
I always get excited around because you know what? Every time we finish with the assessment, we got like half the year already planned out. When we really get down to it, we already know where half our year is going. We know we have trips that
what's the key focus for this year? What are the key travel?
Some of the key, we got kind of idea of what our main focus is going to be as far as our relationship, our money, our finances, our spirituality.
Line up. So everything can line up.
This is where everything, we kind of set the tone for the upcoming year. And that excites me all the time because one, spending my time with her and doing life with her is always
You all right too.
I can't even get it out, man. Golly. Got me again.
Well, thank you guys. Hopefully you guys will come along with us.
No, listen. Honestly,
and you will do relationship checkups as well, right?
Yes.
And the key, he said they're fun. Sometimes the questions aren't fun.
No.
But this is how you win, right?
Yeah.
The way to win is to be lovingly truthful when you're giving your answers, right? Yes. Lovingly truthful when you're giving your answers, and also gracious when you're receiving answers from your partner.
Very good.
Lovingly truthful when you're giving, because we're not trying to hurt, we're trying to make better. We're trying to tweak things, right?
Yeah.
Little things that might pinch. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Lovingly.
Exactly.
And sometimes we even laugh about it, right?
Because why? Because why?
Hi, Jihad. Yes. I'm thankful that you and your wife listen to us.
Hey, thank you.
Hey.
But why, baby?
What? Why?
Because every relationship needs work.
Yeah,
every relationship needs work. And you need, and
so don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged when someone says, you know what, you're a little harsh here. You play the blame game.
Mhm.
You really don't listen.
Mhm.
Or I don't feel this, feel that. So when you're
Mhm.
giving that, first of all, be
Yes.
loving when you give it, because the goal is to share it so we can improve it, right?
Exactly.
And be
That's the
gracious
part.
in how you receive it.
That's the part.
Say, okay,
That's the
I
part.
hear you say,
Mhm.
I hear you say,
Mhm.
and you know what? I'm gonna try to work on that.
Exactly.
Right? It's
Just
communication.
like you said, this is
Communication, Chuck, but communication about specific things
specific
in specific areas, right?
identifying those areas. That's the part. You want to identify those areas.
And if you're, hey, Darlene, I'm glad that you are here.
Hey.
We love you, girl.
Hey, thanks for listening, Darlene. Good to see you. Yes.
So if
Amazing.
if you're a praying person, which we are,
Mhm.
then we pray specific prayers before we even start this type of checkup. We pray because we ask God to help us to love and honor each other.
Mhm.
We ask God to help us grow our marriage. That is a
Mhm.
prayer of ours to the Father. Help us to grow our marriage.
Mhm.
We pray that God would soften our hearts,
Mhm.
for each other, both of our hearts. We pray that God would give us ears to hear what the other person is really trying to say and communicate during this time. And help us in this process. Help us to serve each other.
Mhm.
Help us to grow and what we call be sanctified through this process toward each other,
Mhm.
and help us to be a kingdom-minded couple to reflect God well in the way that our marriage operates. So we're praying, people. So we pray that. So however you set the tone with your higher power to make sure that you are right. For us, it's bigger than we are. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than him. And so we're looking to please our Father. So we do pray before we set the tone. And if you're praying, and then we suggest that you do the same. But on this checkup,
Yes.
let's talk about, it's a lot of categories.
It's a lot. Yo.
And
what, 10, 12?
Hey, 10 of Life is in the building.
10 Live. What's up, Tyrex?
He has landed.
Yes.
Good to see you, bro.
10 areas.
So yeah, there's about 10 different areas.
10.
We may not get into all the areas or all the questions, but we want to give you a sense of how we do this annual checkup and this assessment. So we are going to touch on some of the categories, and we're going to touch on some of the questions. If you want more, there is so much more.
Yes.
There's so much more. Just just ask us at info@love-birds.com, and we'll send it to you.
The assessment. Yep.
Right. So one of the categories is spirituality, as I said, for us. One of the categories is spirituality.
For us is our very first one.
And so in this checkup, there's lots of questions. I mean, each category may have 10, 12 questions. And we pick a couple of those that we think are more pertinent, more germane to us. Yes. And we'll ask those. Like one of the questions for in spirituality is,
which one did you pick this time?
I picked this time, how would you rate your satisfaction with our pursuit of God as a couple this year on a scale of 1 to 5? How would you rate your satisfaction with our pursuit of God as a couple this year? That's the one that I picked.
Yes.
And I rated us very high on that one. Normally it's 1 to 5. Yes. Dissatisfied is a 1. And very dissatisfied is a 1. Dissatisfied is a 2. 3 is okay. 4 is satisfied, and 5 is very satisfied. And so for me, I thought that I was very satisfied. There were times that we had to pull away, and we fasted and we prayed. We served together in the church. We served together in the community. We shared a lot.
But that question. That question was some of the practices and whatchamacalls we did, fasting.
Yeah, there's several couples. Questions. We did talk into that one. Like, what were some of the practices? Yeah. But overall, okay. So, but the overall question, I think, was a 5 because we did some of those things. There's some scriptures that we sat on and meditated on a little bit. Some fasting, some things we were believing God for, some things we were praying.
30 day, 21 day this year.
Yeah, we did some fasting.
Well, last year.
Yeah, some praying. We set some goals and put them before God and asked them to help us. So in the whole spirituality, listen, there are lots of questions. So that was just one for us. You may ask yourself, what did we learn? What's one thing that you learned or
Mhm.
relearned about God that was impactful to you this
Mhm.
year? You may assess your prayer life. What do you think your
Mhm.
prayer life was like? Or
Yep.
specific ways that you want to grow in your spirituality,
Right.
right?
Yes.
You may have questions about praying together. That might be a practice that you might want to start.
Mhm.
Or do you, when there's issues, do you turn to God?
Yes.
Or how has God helped you? So there are lots of questions around
And
spirituality. Hey, Aunt Debbie.
Showing the God issue. Yes.
Right.
Your
So
spirituality.
spirituality is a
Mhm.
whole category.
Yes.
And there are lots of questions under there
Mhm.
to make sure that you're touching on those. And
Mhm.
where are we? Is this an area where we need to do some work? Are we okay?
Right.
And I know I rated high. Did you rate us high
on our spirituality?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, because we were
Okay.
we were steeped into church stuff this year.
Okay.
And even moving forward right now, we already got some stuff that we're already kicking off for this year in our church life and our spirituality.
Yeah,
so it's exciting. I'm excited about a lot of that stuff that's coming along because I love our church life.
Okay.
Our church life, we're dedicated to God.
That's part of our community.
His wishes to us.
So under the relationship checkup, the annual relationship checkup, spirituality is a category.
Yes.
And there are lots of questions under there. We chose one or two, and we kind of went through and really had some honest conversation about where we are there, right?
Yes.
You want to talk another category?
And then we moved on to our friendship and how satisfied we were with our friendship. And this is a person, because I believe Darlene is my best friend now. She's become my best friend. We've become best friends in our marriage, and that's just we're not like a married couple. We're more like buddies.
Yeah.
Me and Darlene are really.
We do like each other.
We did, of course, together. Yes. But of course, we still went through the assessment, and we asked questions like, "In what ways was your spouse a good friend or to you this year? And what ways were you a good friend to your spouse this year?
Okay.
What were some of the things you did that a friend would do for
that a friend would
do? Were you
do.
there for your spouse when she needed a shoulder to cry on, or a friendly touch, or a friendly gesture, or something like that? So, and I rated our friendship. That was off the roof because we really do love spending time together
and doing friendly,
fun things. How satisfied were we with how much fun we had together this year?
How satisfied are you with how much fun we had together this year?
Well, we always have a great time.
Yeah. So that was one that we did, and we rated, and we talk about it. And was that fun for you? And we talk about trips, games.
Reminisce about
we talk about the summertime
stuff again,
and we were able to have extended friends and family with us. For on the beach. Oh my God, that just touched our heart to have family and friends, and just doing things that to have fun. And so those are some of the questions that we asked. What things do we do
and then I capped
that are fun?
What can we do to have more fun? Yes,
so
I was a tirade of ideas.
Yes, you were. Never cease to amaze me. So friendship is another category. That's the second category that we looked at when we do our assessment, our spiritual checkup.
We got friendship so far.
Yes. And look at Amy. Amy says, I try to be a good. Yes, you do.
You are the best friend, Amy.
Friends show up. And so we ask each other, like, even into the next year, how can we be better? How can we better friends, to our friends? We got to show up. We got to support. You got to serve. We got to do some things without them even having to ask. So these are questions that we ask for each other in our relationship. And then as a couple, how can we be friends with each other and grow that? And then even in our circle. So so some good questions there.
Was good there. Yes.
Good questions there.
So we moved on to our third category. You want to cover that one?
But the third category that we dealt with, and I'm already talking about this category, is community.
Yes.
It's community.
Our community.
Yeah. And so some of the questions that we asked here were about
I rated us high on this one too because of this last year.
Yeah, but it was things like how can you increase the quality of community that you have, and what are some next steps that you can take? And so I'm already talking about that. So we talked about, as a couple, how do we increase that for our community? We try to show up, celebrate them more. When we look at our friends and how can we celebrate them more? Like we gave a surprise party for one of our friends in the past year.
Exactly.
Try to show up, try to make those phone calls. I'm bad at making the phone calls. I'm bad. So I have to really deliberately say, you know what? I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to reach out and stop what I'm doing and make that phone call just to kind of touch bases and checking in. So as a couple, we have to look at our community. There are lots of questions around community, like, who is our community? Who is our community?
Who are the 5 people you spent the most time with?
Who are we spending time with? Who should we be spending time with? What are some of the qualities?
Who are the people you like to be with? That's a good question.
Does our community positively impact our relationships?
Exactly. That part. Very good. Yes, I like this.
So that's important to look at your community, your circle, who's around your relationship.
Very good.
Hey, did any of your friends disrespect you or your partner this year? And how was that handled? Are we on the same page about who our community? Because not everybody has good community.
No.
There could probably have been some hiccups in some of these. So community is another area to do that spiritual checkup with. Yeah.
Yeah. You like that one, Chuck? I like community. That one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is your community? Who are the people in your neighborhood?
That's what I was going to say. Yes. You said that. You got it too before I got it.
So So guys, we are talking about, of course, that annual relationship checkup. We talked about spirituality. Friendship, and we talked about community. Another category, and again, listen, there's 10 or 12 questions for each of these, so we pick the ones that we feel are important for us.
Right.
So another category, communication, of course, is a whole category. That you want to assess. An important category to assess, right?
Yes.
So
did you communicate well this year?
Did we communicate well this year?
Were you heard when you communicated what you communicated?
Did you feel heard when you communicated?
Did you get to say what you wanted to say when you communicated?
Or were you holding back?
Were you holding back? Yeah.
Did you say what you really meant?
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you feel free to share?
Exactly. That's a good one. Did you feel free to share? Yes. Yep.
Even things like, when is the best time for us to talk about things?
Yeah. You know what one I came up with that wasn't on the list? Did you need to hear something from your spouse that you didn't hear from?
Right. Was there missing communication?
Was there some missing communication?
That's a good one, baby.
Good one, yeah. That was one that was not on the list, but when I thought about when we was reading through it, I was like, was there any? And I'm trying to think of stuff, you know what I mean? As we go through these questions and assessments, you'll start to find certain questions fit to your relationship niche. So I was coming up with questions that kind of fit our profile, our relationship profile. So,
but you might want to ask questions such as, is there anything your spouse does as you communicate that causes issues?
Yes.
Or deflects from productive conversations?
So this out.
Yeah, so these are some questions too that you might want to ask if you're assessing.
But not to be, get too into, but I'm a deflector. I am a deflector. So deflection is, Darlene say something and I'll throw it back right here. Well, maybe you remember when you did it, and it's not so much to bring up the bad side of her. It's to show, in my head, it's to say, we're all human. We all make mistakes and things of that nature. It's not so much to, kind of put her in a bad light or play tit for tat or the blame game or so as we have already talked about. But it's really to kind of, show that we're all human. Yeah. I can make a mistake. We all can make mistakes.
Right.
But it's deflection.
It's deflection. But I know where it comes from. Yes. And baby, and thank you for sharing that with the artists, because my husband I wouldn't say he's a perfectionist, but he tries so hard to be good and to cover the bases. So when I have to say, you know what, honey, let me tell you, you do a little this or you do a little that. Like I'm trying so hard. I'm running around doing everything I can think of to please you. So it's like, okay, nobody's perfect. And he may try to find something that I did to say, well, last month you did this, or whatever, and you didn't say enough that somebody else did it, and then whatever.
Yeah.
It's some type of a twisted away from me to you or to somebody else. Right. He is the best, Aunt Debbie. I just love him. But it's a deflection. It's like, but did you hear? I hear what I said about what I need you to do.
Yeah.
Because you flipped that too fast. So. So thanks for sharing that. That deflection part.
And so
So first, let's become aware of it.
See, that's the identifier. See, I was able to identify, and now I'm able to work on it. And I'm getting better. I really am. I'm getting better.
So communication,
Yes.
And there's questions like, what would make you feel more heard in our relationship?
Yes.
What would make you feel more heard? And just overall, how well do you feel your spouse or your partner hears you?
Yes.
How well do you feel they hear you? So under the checkup part of communication, there are lots of questions there, but it's so key.
Yes.
If you want to fix it, if you want to have the best, you have to be honest about where you are and some little things that can make it better. Sometimes it's just little tweaks. Little tweaks that can make it so much better. Why wouldn't you do that?
I know.
If you can do a little tweak to make things so much better in your relationship, why wouldn't you do that?
In your life,
in
period.
Your life, yeah.
Yes, why wouldn't you do
we're supposed to be growing, right?
Yes, absolutely. At all
okay.
times. Yes.
So communication was a good one.
Next one.
Conflict.
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 You got to cover conflict.
You got to.
It's inevitable.
You have to look at how, first of all, there's questions about, we asked, like, how do we feel about the amount of conflict we had this year? How much was it? Too much conflict? What do we feel about the amount? Because some years it could be too much. Like, listen, last year was too much conflict.
Yes.
So can we squash XYZ the top of the year? And this is how we're going to handle these things. What are the top 3 things that contributed to the conflict? What are the things that we're having conflict over? Right? You're right. You're going to have conflict, but it's how you handle it. It's the maturity. Yeah. It's that whole, what's our definition? Courage, balance with consideration. It's the maturity that that you go into these conflicts with. And what are you really trying to do with this conflict?
Yes.
Where are you going with this conflict? What are you trying to solve with this conflict? Or is it just conflict for the sake of conflict?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to live there, right?
Some people do want to live there.
Well, you know what?
Some people are just like, they just thrive off of the. Yeah. Some people, I believe you me, I know.
Yeah. So, but you got to ask some of these questions. So, what are we doing with this conflict? Ding, ding, ding. Get answered. So how do you thrive? So how do we handle this conflict? What are the things that we have conflict over? Are there some things that we can put in place at the top of the year so that doesn't take up so much of our time next year?
You need to be
going into this
heard
next year
in your conflicts too.
Yeah.
You need to be heard, and you need to allow to be a good listener.
Here's a question.
During times in conflict. Yes.
Here's a question. How do you feel about how we handle conflict as a couple?
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, that's a question.
We did good at it. We did good at this one.
Do you sweep it under the rug? Yes, do you ignore it? Do you walk on eggshells?
Because we have some stuff.
We do.
Everybody does.
We do.
Yeah.
And there's different things that you put into. Sometimes it's not the right time to deal with it. So, I have to wait for what I call, a teachable moment.
Or no, I like the other one though.
What? What's that?
The time release.
Oh, yeah. I have to time release some things. You can't let it all out at one time. A little drip at a time. You know what? So just how you do it. Sometimes it's not the right time. Right?
Yes. Let's talk about the
roots of the conflict. Yeah.
Oh,
so what are the top 3 things that contribute to the conflict? Identify those things, right? What causes us to go there?
Yeah, what causes us to go to conflict?
And why?
What are the top 3 things that cause us conflict?
Yeah, and why? What strikes that nerve or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
And come back to it. And you gotta come back to it.
Because if you got conflicts, maybe you want to start with
maybe it's 1.
Yeah, don't start with 3 because.
Yeah, and you're right, but you got to come back to it. You can't just always brush it off and not deal with it.
Say, let's start with this, and then we'll work on. After we get through this, we'll work on this one. Then we'll work on that one.
Right.
If that's the case, if you got that many issues going on.
So sometimes it's like like that whole come back to it thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to come back to it. Like, when is a good time for us to talk about this?
Yes.
When is a good time? And
Yes.
and there are times where we have to kind of squash it. Like, okay, this is not a good time to talk about this. But we may come back to it within 24 or 48 hours and say, okay, listen, let's go back and talk about what happened.
We gonna come back.
I felt this way, you felt that way. But you got to come back.
Oh yeah, no, listen, it's
some people don't come back.
Stuff that lingers never go. It's not going away. No, it's not going away. It's going to linger. Yeah. So it's best to address it, get it over with, find a solution, find something that's workable for the both of you, and begin to work at it and work on it. Yeah.
So as you're doing your annual relationship checkup, one of the things you want to talk about is conflict. What do we have conflict about? How do we handle it? How much conflict is going on? Is this healthy? That type of situation, right?
Yes. Moving on. Problem solving.
Oh, yes.
Were you going to keep on with conflict?
I think we covered it, but one of the questions that we did address was, what is the one thing that you would like your spouse to stop doing when it comes to conflict? And you already addressed that.
Yeah.
The deflecting.
Yeah. That's where this came. This is where we could start talking. This is one thing, and I'm going to bring this up again. This is one of the reasons why I really love us doing the podcast, is because doing a lot of this stuff, and I've said this on time and time before, doing this stuff really gives us the opportunity to really try it out, to really do it, implement it into our routines and things of that nature, giving us a broader mind of how people are, it's addressing these issues, issues as far as relationship is concerned. So we're constantly feeding ourselves and bombarding ourselves with solutions and what people are saying and what's the consensus on it.
Over-salting the collard greens causes conflict with don't be messing up the daggone pot of greens, not the whole pot.
How you gonna mess up a whole pot of collard?
Oh my God. It's not gonna be a good day. We done messed up the rest of the day.
That's all the way up until next
day. The day is ruined. We might as well go to bed and try again tomorrow. But as you're doing your annual relationship checkup, you want to talk about how you deal with conflict. Do you not deal with conflicts? Do you sweep it under the rug? And a couple other things too. Like, we talked about some of the questions that we did our assessment with, but there are other things like, is there anything you need to apologize and ask forgiveness for?
Those parts.
Is there anything you need to apologize and ask forgiveness for now? That is one of the questions that could be listed as you're dealing with this.
That could end your conflict.
Or here's another one.
What's that?
Do you feel like you held on to anger or a grudge against your partner? How specifically, and how do you move past it? So each of these categories have tons of questions, and I'm sure that one will bowl down your alley for where you are in your relationship and will help you to understand each other and move better. We want to be the best that we can be in 2023.
Yes.
So let's do these assessments. Let's make sure that we're healthy. Let's make sure things that are unhealthy, we're dealing with those. So
and if you need a copy of this assessment to get you started in both, so that you can find these questions that may bowl down your alley, remember, you can go ahead and sign and email us at info@LoveByrds.com, and we'll give you ours. We'll give you what we've done this year. The annual relationship checkup. It's a good one. Trust me, it's a really good one.
All right, guys. Problem solving.
Problem solving. We're moving on to problem solving. This is another area.
This is another area where you want to rate your how do you problem solve as a couple? Are we good at this? Are we poor at this?
Identifying what were the main problems in your relationship first of all.
Yeah, what were the main problems?
That's a great place to start. Identifying where the main problems were. It may be your finances, it would be your
family
prayer life,
issues,
family issues. But identifying that area is a great way to begin solving the problem.
Right. Are you proud of how you handled the problems that came up last year?
True.
So problems will come up, right?
No doubt.
So one of the questions is, when problems come up, does it throw us for a loop? Does it throw us off our square? Yeah, off our square. Or are we are we proud of how we handle it?
Right.
Some couples handle it well. Some couples don't handle problems well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it when you're doing your assessment.
How well did we support each other during
Right.
these
How
problems?
did you support each other?
How did you
through the
support
problems?
your spouse or your partner?
Or what could you have done differently?
What could you have done to probably support or help your partner through the issue?
Mm-hmm.
Is another way to evaluate, or a great way to evaluate your problem solving.
Do you feel that your partner lets you in on their problems or keeps them from you?
Ding, ding, ding. I keep everything from Darlene. If it's a problem, I'll never tell you. Because I don't.
He doesn't want me to wear or feel them, but I can always tell when there is one.
Sure can.
So then I'm like, okay, so why are you not talking to me? Why are you not using me as a helper through these problems?
Because I can handle it.
And not that you can't handle it, but what I always tell you though, but if the two are one, if you're hurting or something's bogging you down, and I'm hey, the world is
I don't want to bring you down.
No, it's not.
I could take the weight.
No. Y'all see where we were on this question, right?
I was not.
Y'all see where we were on this
I was
question.
up here, but she was in the middle.
Right.
I was up here because one, I don't pretty much tell Darlene. If I got a problem, man, it's going to be all the way to like the last ditch effort. And then I ask them, or I say something.
Or I say, okay, I saw you run around like you were kind of preoccupied. Like, what is that? What is going on? Oh, I got it. Okay. Problem solved. But that's one of the areas that you want to assess, when you're doing your annual checkup.
Yes.
Okay,
that's good.
That's real good.
Okay.
That's real
All right,
good.
moving on to the
the best.
Y'all already know. Y'all already know where I'm going, so y'all might as well just meet me there. Sex.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about sex.
Talk about it.
Let's talk about you.
During your annual relationship checkup, you have to talk about sex. You have to talk about sex. How do you rate your overall sex life with your how do you rate your overall sex life? How would you rate your consistency, your frequency, your quality? Can we? I ain't even say nothing that time. Wait a minute. Do you have fun in the bedroom? Do you have fun?
As a matter of fact, we're having a lot of fun in the bedroom right now.
We're having fun in our bedroom right now.
We invited you guys right here where it all goes down.
Right?
I told you I was feeling giddy. This the part.
Yes.
This the part.
And if you're not rating high, then you have to have these conversations like, how do you make sex a priority?
Absolutely.
How do you make improving your sex life a priority? Does it happen as much as you would like it to? If not, what gets in the way?
How many times would you like that?
Yeah, realistic. How many times would you like?
How many times would you make sex a priority?
You have to have these conversations.
That's a whole lot of questions in the set. I think this section was the biggest.
Yeah, I think you just stayed in this
well, I
section
listened. It was real small for me. I don't need the first question was, do you
right?
The quality. Quality covers everything below this section. So if I get
frequency, quality,
all that.
Frequency.
Quality,
we talk about frequency, quality.
It was like the first 3 questions, and I felt like I was out the bar.
Yes, you do, and then it's
I'm
hard to reel
sorry.
you back in when there's another category after sex. But yes,
so we can keep that brief and short. But y'all know what you need.
You know what you need to talk about.
You know what you need to talk about. That's the one thing about in this category. You know what you need to talk about. So start having the conversation. You know what I mean? Just open up. Start
talk about what you really love that your partner does. Talk about what you're thankful for, and not talk about
talk about what you want.
I talk about what I was thankful for.
Lord,
thank you.
Have mercy.
Thank you.
If I tell you.
But there might
But
be.
talk to
Do you ever feel rejected?
True.
I mean, other people may. There are questions that might,
Yes.
like I said, boil down your alley. But do you ever feel rejected? And then how comfortable are you expressing yourself in the bedroom? Just what's your comfort level there? Right. So lots of things to assess.
Not
under the category of sex.
Under the guise of sex.
That's right. Right.
That's a good one.
One more.
And of
maybe?
course, after sex, we have to cover this one.
This one is this. Which one do you want to go to? Money.
We got to cover money.
That's
money is. Yes,
it's,
of course.
Yeah,
we didn't got there. I know y'all was probably waiting for that one, but money is
so important.
Very important
to assess the category of money
Ain't
and
no
finances.
Romance without the finances.
When you do your annual relationship checkup, right?
You got to cover that. Yes.
Yeah. Some of the questions that we ask about ask each other in our annual assessment and things like, how would you rate your satisfaction with how we handled our finances together? On a scale of 1 to 5. Most of these are on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yes.
Did we work together? Do we feel like we worked together as a team when it came to handling money? Do we feel like we were on the same page? Yes or no about money?
How did you do with saving?
Yeah.
How did you do with stewardship?
Do we feel like we were a good steward over the finances? And
how generous were you with your money?
Are there ways that we need to steward our finances better? And that's a good, you have to put a lot of thought into these things. We need to probably save more for when things come up. I would feel more comfortable if we did this or if we did that. I would feel more comfortable if anytime it's over $100, you at least run it by me or, whatever, but have these conversations about money and about your finances, right? So that you can, so that you feel like you can get an A on how you guys do your finances. Is there budgeting involved? If so, do you stick to the budget? Do you budget together? Is there anything that frustrates you about money when it comes to your spouse? So you want to talk about these things. You may not have talked about it in a moment, but then when you have these conversations like, when you went out and you bought yourself all this kind of stuff and we had just done this or whatever, but you have to have those conversations. Again, I started this off by saying being gracious. What did I say back in the beginning?
Yes, you about being gracious and you want to be
lovingly
truthful and gracious.
And giving and gracious when receiving and honest. Yes. Come on, guys. We gotta be
when you're doing the assessment.
Yep.
Lovingly gracious. I like the way that flows off my tongue.
Yeah.
See that?
Lovingly gracious and honest. Don't start it.
Okay. Hey, you know what? It's about that time. Listen, we're going to be right back. Don't you guys
stay with us.
We got a couple more things to go.
We're going to come back and finish.
And Chuck,
hang
give
in
it
there
to
with
us,
us, guys.
Hey everybody, we're back. Thanks for staying with us for your LoveByrds. Hey, listen, we want to once again thank our Feel Good Talk family. Listen, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I don't know, but I'm gonna throw it out there on the LoveByrds Shirt Conversation with the LoveByrds, because Feel Good Talk, February 11th, baby.
It's going down.
It's going down at the
It's
Snide
going
Ballroom.
down. It's
we
going
have our
down.
Black Tie Love and Appreciation ceremony going on at the Snide Ballroom.
The Feel Good Talk family.
Sale.
We're celebrating all the good stuff that we've done and that we'll continue to do as a family.
Yes.
Get your tickets for February 11th.
Yes.
Dinner, dancing, guest speakers,
drinks,
awards,
guest speakers, awards.
All good things.
Yo, listen, the Feel Good Talk, no expense. They didn't go
spare no
expense. They are going to roll out the red carpet, and we're excited. Yes, it's going down at the Snide Ballroom.
We'll be there.
11th. We'll be sending out. I think I already sent out the
flyer.
The flyer. I think, like I said, I think there's possibility. I'm not throwing it out there, but tickets are $60 if I'm not. But
$60.
that, remember,
Get your tickets.
that's the entertainment.
It's gonna
That's
be
the
a wonderful
DJs.
night.
That's the drinks. That's your food. That's the whole nine. Listen, and it's gonna be fun.
You want to be in the place.
You want to be in the place.
We're all excited about it.
Go to
And
Feel
we
Good
will
Talk.
see you there.
Get your tickets. The QR code there. You can Cash App, I believe. You can. Hey Chuck,
We'll put it on.
Can we get that? Can we get a whatchamacallit?
Sinai Ballroom. It's in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Something for the gala. If
Reach out to us. Reach out to us.
You
We'll
reach
make
out to your LoveByrds. We'll make sure you get all the
ticket.
info. Get your tickets if you need be. Like I say, Feel Good Talk. Our CEO, CFO, COO, Chuck Brakely, and all the Feel Good Talk family.
Yes.
You guys, thank you guys for allowing us to do this on your platform.
So we've been talking about that annual relationship checkup and how important it is. You know, LoveByrds, we love our assessments. We like to talk about it. We like to strip it down and get in there and with the object of trying to improve this thing. We're not just going to survive in this relationship thing. We want to thrive.
We're strong.
And yes, right. We're going to keep a pulse on it, keep it right and keep it tight. And we've been talking about this relationship assessment that we do at the top of the year. We're hoping to share that. Hopefully we're helping somebody. If we're helping you, say you're helping us. Let us know in the comments if you're helped by some of the things that we're sharing. Okay. And we're going to wrap it up with the little bird seed.
What's our bird seed for today?
Just a little bird seed, something you can take with you, a few seeds that you can chew on with from now until next Wednesday, right? These are the 3 that we're going to give you. If you don't do anything else, we're going to give you 3 things to chew on this week. So nibble on these seeds, right?
Yes.
Number 1, what is one area that you want to see your relationship grow in the most? What is one area that you want to see your relationship grow the most? Number 2, what is something that you're really thankful for when it comes to your relationship? Something that you're thankful for.
Gratefulness.
And number 3.
Give it to him, baby.
In what ways are you proud of yourselves as a couple?
Yes.
In what ways are you proud of yourselves as a couple? So sometimes, when we talk about these assessments, it's not always trying to poke the bad. Sometimes it's celebrating the good. As a couple, what are we proud of as a couple? What are we thankful for about each other and about our relationship? But also, what is one area you want to see it grow? Name that thing. And work on it. Be specific.
Be specific. Call it out.
Yeah. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. We know we find it helpful for us, and we like to share what we do, especially if it's helpful, right?
Because that's what we do.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
We want to thank you guys for joining us. We're the LoveByrds.
I'm Conversation
LoveByrds. I'm William Bird.
We're the LoveByrds. Thank you for joining in the Conversations with the LoveByrds, where we love people, we love love,
and we love you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Guys.
Next week. Hey.